Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Jenny Dildine, the LDS Mission Coach, and you are listening to the LDS Mission Podcast, episode number 176, How to Like Something You Don't Like. I'm Jenny, the LDS Mission Coach, and whether you're preparing to serve a mission, currently serving, a returned missionary, or a missionary mama like me, I created this podcast just for you. Are you searching for epic confidence, ready to love yourself and to learn the how of doing hard things? Then let's go. You totally already have what it takes to step powerfully into your potential and never question your purpose again. It's time to embrace yourself, embrace your mission, embrace your life, and embrace what's next. Hey everybody, welcome to the podcast. Thanks so much for being here. I'm excited to be hanging out with you today. Some of you might be wondering, where's Mission Prep Plus? Like, normally we run Mission Prep Plus the first 2 weeks of every month, but we're actually taking November, December, and January off so that my coaches and my RM mentors can enjoy sort of their holiday season, as well as I'm taking a few months off to sort of think through Mission Prep Plus a little bit more, see if there's ways that we can improve it, see if we can make the experience even better for the people who are going through there. And then when we come back in February, I'm excited to relaunch that and share all of those changes with you. I still love the idea of Mission Prep Plus. It's so important, the mindset and emotional tools that you need for your mission. Now, can you serve a mission without these? Probably. Will your mission be worlds easier if you have some mindset and emotional tools? Yes. I think that I've seen without exception with the number of missionaries currently serving and returned missionaries, preparing missionaries that I've worked with over the last few years, that without question, these tools that we're learning here about, mindset, emotional health, make a huge difference if you can get those tools before you leave. I was actually doing some calculations this morning, and since I started coaching, I've worked with well over 100 missionary clients. I've had clients in lots of other areas too, young adults, and I work in another program, coach tons there. But as far as like my own clients, just specifically geared around missions, preparing missionaries, currently serving missionaries, and return missionaries, well over 100 now. And so it's fun to just be able to share some of the things I've learned after doing this and share those tools with you. And if you want to get a jump start on your mission, Mission Prep Plus is the way to go. And so again, it's a couple months out because we're taking a couple months off, but stay tuned because we're going to jump back in February and start preparing all of you that are getting your mission calls in the spring and getting ready to head out in the summer. So that's going to be awesome. I've been talking on the podcast a little bit the last couple weeks about how I am working on loving fall. Now, here's the story with that, is for the longest time, I have actually not liked fall. In fact, when my family does family pictures, which we're probably due for again here soon, I never want to do it in the fall. I want to do it in the spring or in the fall before everything turns colors, because to me, the fall is just basically an introduction or a precursor to winter, which I know is really hard for me. So I was Marcoing with a friend. I think I told this story a couple weeks ago, but basically I was Marcoing with a friend on Marco Polo, and I was like, oh, here we are, fall. And it's been a beautiful fall and super warm, great, amazing temperatures. But I just am like, oh, I don't like fall. And I just had been saying I don't like fall over and over. And this friend of mine was basically said something like, well, I mean, what if you just liked fall and then not like winter? she's like, it kind of makes sense to me that what if you could just be, down or miserable one season instead of two. That way, 3/4 of the year, you're really enjoying it. And then just 1/4 of the year, you don't love. Now, some of the people listening to this are just going to have their jaws drop on the floor because they're obsessed with fall. They love fall. They love the pumpkin smells and the harvest spice, and they love the pumpkin patches and the corn mazes and the crisper weather. That's mostly when I ask people, I'm like, are you happy it's fall? They're like, yeah, I love this cooler weather. And I love the rain and the colors and the leaves and all of that. And so anyway, it just got me thinking, this suggestion from my friend. I was like, I wonder if I could like fall, because she had a really amazing point. I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense. So this is an experiment I've actually been working on since like maybe the beginning of September-ish. Anyway, it doesn't matter exactly how long I've been working on it, but it's something that I've actually made a focus of something new I want to like and to start enjoying more. And so I've sort of been taking mental notes and created a lot of awareness about what this process is like so that I can share it with you. And so this episode, how to like something you don't like, we're going to talk about like what kinds of things we could do this with. We're going to talk about good reasons to change what you like, maybe not as good motivations or not as useful motivations to change something that you like. And then I think I came up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 steps or 7 kind of things to remember to change something you don't like into something that you do like. Okay. So this is going to apply to everybody listening because we all have stuff that we don't like, whether we're on the mission, whether we're coming home from the mission, whether we're a parent, whether we're a mission leader. We all have stuff that kind of gets under your skin and you don't like. I'm thinking that this process that I'm going to teach you works for most everything. I'm going to give you a list of some ideas, but I'm not entirely sure if it will work for things that are involved with your senses, meaning like a smell that you don't like. Like I don't like really perfumey smells because they give me a headache, right? And so this is involved with my senses. I don't love the texture or taste of lima beans. So maybe I could change that and like lima beans. Really, it doesn't matter to me that much. And so I'm not worried about that. But anyway, I think that would be a whole other conversation. Like I recently watched a documentary about Elizabeth Smart, and she didn't like orange juice because it was associated with some things that had happened in her past. And so these things that are connected to a very sensory experience, it might be different to like those things. And to change the way we think about those things and the experience that we're having when we taste or smell something like that. But when it comes to like experiences, when it comes to seasons like me, when it comes to a person or a companion, when it comes to, I'm going to just list a few more, like whether you like Facebook finding, whether you like your area, your zone, your district, whether you like your job or your calling, whether you like or dislike certain holidays, whether you like or dislike cats or dogs, whether you like or dislike the second hour of church, whether you like or dislike reading books. And then this one, I want us all to, in this conversation, consider how what I'm going to offer to you today also could most likely apply to learning to like yourself. So it may or may not surprise you, because I'm guessing most of you feel this way from time to time, is that sometimes I work with people who don't like themselves. And this, of course, may surprise you if you think you're the only one that doesn't like yourself, but may also not surprise you if you've listened to this podcast enough and know that just this is what our human brain is going to do sometimes. It's like, yeah, we're not the best, so that's too bad, right? That's just what our brain does sometimes. Totally normal, totally natural. It's a protective way for us to show up in the world. Our brain thinks it's useful to think this, and I have tons of episodes and podcast episodes about that. So I should just say podcast episodes about that. But I'm curious if some of these ideas could help us like ourselves better too. Because sometimes we just get in this pattern. It's like, no, I just don't like myself. And we don't have to stay in that pattern. We can change that pattern, which is kind of fun to do. Okay, so the reason, let me explain kind of the mechanics behind liking or not liking something. So the reason that we don't like something is because we have sort of this brain, and I've talked about it in the last few weeks, that likes to separate things out into things that are good for me and things that are not good for me, right? And so it'll separate out like, lima beans, not good for me, probably because of an experience that I had with it before. My brain has come to think fall, not good for me, right? Winter, not good for me. Spring and summer, amazing for me. But the more that we continue to think this, it becomes a pattern or almost like a well-worn pathway in your brain. So when you think about your brain, the first time you think a thought, like maybe you think thoughts like, I don't like hiking, okay? What happens is the first time you think that, there's a pathway that's created in your brain, a little synapse, and then the more you think it, the more that synapse, that little pathway gets worn and worn and worn and worn until it's a very thick sort of neural pathway. And when this happens, our brain will just sort of delegate it to the lower brain, so it doesn't have to consider like every time and someone invites us to go hiking, we don't have to be like, do I like hiking? Do I not like hiking? Our brain will be like, nope, we don't like hiking. And we don't have to think about it as much. So this is what happens, is this well-worn pathway in our brains then delegates it to the lower brain. And what happens is our brain starts to believe that that's just a fact, as if we were stating a fact like it's raining right now. So our brain starts to see it's raining right now the same as I don't like the rain. And so it starts to, and you're probably not even conscious of it, but it starts to see and think that there's only one way to do this. There's only one way to think about this. There's just like, rain is bad, okay? But here's the good news is even those like well-worn pathways, if we want to, and we're going to talk about some of the reasons we may want to change what we like and don't like, those well-worn pathways in our brains aren't actually facts. When we say it's raining right now, that is not the same as I don't like the rain. I don't like the rain is a judgment or a thought about the fact that is just happening. And if it's a judgment or a thought about what's happening or the experience that you're having, it's changeable. You can rewire or retrain your brain to think something else. Okay, so let's talk about some good reasons that we might want to change what we like. Okay, I wrote down a couple of things. Because it adds diversity and experience to your life. The story that this made me think of is my oldest son, when he was little, probably toddler age, he loved watching Dumbo. And that's all he wanted to watch, Dumbo, the Disney movie, right? And so he'd watch Dumbo over and over and over and over again. Back then it was a VHS. We would just like put the tape in and then we'd have to rewind it and then we'd play it again. And we had a little like VHS sort of TV combo that we could take in our minivan once we had a few more kids, and he'd still want to watch Dumbo, right? Through his young age, through his young life. But maybe we want to change what we like or don't like, because what if we just opened ourselves up to other movies like Lady and the Tramp or maybe Cinderella or something like that? It adds diversity and experience and actually beauty to your life when we just expand what we like. And that just sounds kind of fun. Another reason is because, I guess I just kind of mentioned this, because it could add more fun. So I've been watching these people on Instagram. They have these reels where basically their premise is, now we understand why everyone likes Taylor Swift. And they'll like listen to the song. I love watching these reels, by the way. They'll listen to one of the songs that they've never listened to before. And they just like flip out. And it just like puts a smile on my face. And they're having so much fun together. And like, I know many of you probably have mixed feelings about Taylor Swift, but I personally think it's so fun that I get to be alive when Taylor Swift is alive, because she makes everything so fun with her Easter eggs and all of that. And so if you don't like her, maybe if you decided to figure out how to like her, you might add more fun. And I'm not saying you should or you have to, but you could. And think of other things that if you decided to like them, how it could add more fun into your life. Another reason to maybe change what you like would be because it makes your life easier. I remember the first time I taught my father-in-law how to order something on Amazon. And he was like, I don't know about this technology stuff, ordering things online. And now he's like, oh, Jenny, I'm so glad you taught me that all those years ago, right? Sometimes if we are open to things that we don't like and want to change about it, it makes life easier. Maybe you are just the kind of person that's like, oh, I don't like texting. I want to call or something like that. And that's totally fine. Like you can, but if you're open to liking something different, it might ease things up in your life, make it more simple. Okay. Another one I came up is this one, which it's a phrase I've heard my whole life, but sometimes we cut off our nose to spite our face. So basically, we kind of have this like, I'll show you world. Like, actually, I totally remember that so when Hamilton, the musical, was big, I was like, I am not going to like Hamilton until I see it for myself. And so all the people are like, Hamilton, Hamilton, Hamilton. And I was like, nope, nope. And I was cutting off my nose to spite my face. Basically, if I had chose to like something that I didn't like in that moment, then I would just stop doing that. Like I wouldn't have to like cause myself pain and just keep myself from more enjoyment just because I was like showing the world like, oh, I'm not going to be like you. End of the story is I did go see Hamilton. I was making judgments about Hamilton before I'd even seen it. And by the end, I was like standing ovation and crying. And then I knew that I liked it, right? Because I'd experienced it. And then my last reason, good reasons to change what you like, is because why not? Like, why not open yourself up to more ideas, more experiences? If you don't like dogs, why not? Just like cats. It sounds more fun and adds experience and diversity to your life. Okay, let's talk about some of the reasons that it might not be useful, might not be a useful reason to change what you like. Number one, because you're supposed to. Like, this is what everyone is telling me I'm supposed to do, and so I have to like this thing. I mean, you can do it that way, but you might end up with a little bit of like resentment or something like that. Number two, don't change what you like to just fit in, right? Like we see this in middle school and high school a lot. It's like, oh, well, I used to like this kind of shoe, but now I'm going to like this kind of shoe because then I'll be cool and I'll fit in with everybody. Or maybe I used to like this kind of water bottle and now I'm choosing to like this kind of water bottle just because I'm choosing to fit in. Another not useful reason is to be accepted. Okay. None of this that I'm teaching you today is so that you can like fit into a crowd. The thing I want you to remember is that you are uniquely wonderful, amazing, perfect, valuable human with so much to offer. So if you're trying to change yourself, this is what we would call like people pleasing, right? Or perfectionism, something like that, where we're trying to sort of shape shift to be accepted by people and trying to like things because other people do. It's not a useful reason. One thing that comes to mind is I have tried lots of times to like Harry Potter. And I think if I had enough time and energy to give it a shot, I think I would like Harry Potter. But there's no like part of me at all who believes like, if I like Harry Potter, then I'll be accepted into this like group or something like that. It could just be more fun to like Harry Potter. It could expand my experience. I could be in the know when people talk about the butterbeer and the wands and all of that thing. It sounds kind of fun to me and interesting and expansive, but I'm not going to do it just so that I can fit in. And here's one more thing about this. You don't have to like everything. In fact, you're not supposed to like everything. And so you're meant to have things that you're drawn towards and things that you're not drawn towards. And we're all different in those ways. And that's good. We need all of us here. But if it sounds kind of fun and expansive to try, like I've been doing with fall, if it feels like maybe you've been missing out on something that you want to add into your life, I say go for it. Let's do it. So here are the 7 steps for how to change what you like. Number 1, be curious. Number 2, watch how other people enjoy the thing. Number 3, practice enjoying the thing. Number 4, really lean into it. Number 5, change the way you're talking about it. Number 6, be open to being wrong. Number 7, understand it may take time. So let's just do a quick jump into each one of these. Number 1, be curious about why people like that thing. You have to be open and make observations. So this is kind of where I started, right? With my friend's comment. I was like, interesting. I wonder, I'm curious. Could I actually like fall? What are the reasons that people like fall? What are all those things? And I've heard them a million times about all the leaves and the whatever, like the crisp weather and the yummy smells and the coziness and all of that. Like I'd heard it, but I had to be really open to the idea that maybe if I gave those things a chance that I might like them too. So you just start making observations. You're like, what is it about this person that people like? What is it about cats that people like? What is it about Facebook's finding that people love? What is it about the second hour of church that people love? And we start making observations. And if we're applying this to yourself, what is it that other people love about me? Right? Number 2, watch how other people enjoy the thing. And so I've been observing. I'm like, what do people do that like fall? Right? And they have movies that they like to watch. My daughter's just started watching Gilmore Girls again. They have specific like traditions around it, specific foods they like to eat. They have specific like favorite sweaters and clothes that they like to pull out of their closet. And so I've just been watching and noticing how people enjoy fall. Like, what do they actually do? Number 3, lean into it and start doing those things that people are doing. So that's number 3, practice enjoying the thing. So you actually have to do those things to create those experiences for yourself. So you have to actually start practicing liking fall. And we slowly start to get our brain on board instead of being in this neural pathway that it's been in for so long. We start practicing. And I'm like, oh, I noticed that people like pumpkin cookies. They like to eat pumpkin cookies or pumpkin desserts. So that's what I did 2 Sundays ago. I was like, you know what we're going to do today? We're going to make a pumpkin dessert. Right? I've noticed that people like having cozy sweaters and sweatshirts. And so I got on Etsy and I ordered myself a sweatshirt, which leads me into number 4. Okay, so you got to number 3 is really practice enjoying the thing. So you actually have to do it. Like you can't expect that you're going to change whether you like second hour or not of church if you never go to second hour. Does this make sense? I'm never going to change the way I think whether I like cats or dogs if I never have an experience with those things. And so you have to practice enjoying those things. And then number 4 is really lean into it. So that's what I've been doing. I've been leaning into it. I've been practicing. And I'm going all in on, I changed my phone case. My phone case right now is black and pink and yellow and a sage green, fall. Okay. I wore a black and white striped shirt the other day, and I was calling it my little practice at loving Halloween. What was so fun is I've told a few people about my experiment to love fall, and one friend actually brought me over a pumpkin smelling candle and a little glass pumpkin lantern that lights up. And I just love that it's been really fun to just dive into this and see what it's all about. What's all the hype about with fall? Number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Instead of saying, I love fall right at the beginning, this will never work. If you don't like dogs, let's say, and all of a sudden you're like, I love dogs, it's not going to work. That neural pathway is so strong. Remember, your brain thinks it's a fact. It thinks it's just it's a truth. It's just the way the world works, basically. And so one little brain hack I'll share with you is you can say, I'm learning to love dogs. And so that's what I've been saying to a lot of people is, yeah, I'm learning to love fall. And notice how this I'm learning to opens you up to possibility of what else could be true. Okay. Number 6, be open to being wrong about how you've thought about that thing. I like this one a lot, especially when we're talking about, it could apply to any of these examples that I've been using, but also apply to when you don't like yourself. You sometimes have to be wrong about you. If you believe you're just not awesome and you're not doing good enough, all of that, you have to be I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I've been working with this RM client, and she, at the beginning of our sessions, just was saying, I'm just not confident. I'm just not confident. And so we've been working together. And then she came to a session this week and she was like, I don't know if I'm confident or not. And so then we talked about, I said, what if you've just been wearing the wrong glasses? I want you, because maybe you've just been believing so long that you're not confident, that neural pathway has been formed. Let's just take away the glasses that you've been wearing and peek under them a little bit and be like, wait a second. Have I been wrong about me? What if I really am confident? What if I really am good enough? What if I really do like fall, but I've been so stuck in my ways that I haven't even seen that there's another possibility. And so I love this one, to be open to being wrong about how you've thought about that thing, about second hour, or about holidays, or a person, or your companion, or Facebook finding, okay? Number 7, understand that it may take time. Now, I think when we do take these steps, we do create a lot of momentum. And I'm starting to be like, wait a second, do I like fall? Maybe I like fall now. But I also am totally open to the idea that maybe I won't actually love fall until next fall. Right now I'm learning and I'm working on it. And some of these things, some of these neural pathways that are pretty set, take a little bit of time to coax our brain and create the momentum to go the other way. Okay. This has been so fun, you guys. And I encourage you, maybe just pick one thing that you're like, I don't really like that. And just try this experiment with me. It's been super fun to observe myself. It's such a good exercise to show our brains that we are the creators of our experience. So fall doesn't create my experience. Fall just happens, and I create my experience around fall and what I want it to be. So I love that it shows our brain that we're the creator of our experience always, 100% of the time. And it also makes us all more expansive instead of less. We're not the person that's constantly like, nope, not going to do that. Nope, not going to do that. Nope, I don't like that. Nope, I don't like that. Right? We become like more expansive instead of like shutting down and shutting out people and shutting out experiences and shutting out things. And I just think that sounds really exciting and fun. So, all right. I hope all of this has helped you. I hope that you take this little challenge and find something simple that you could maybe start to shift the way that you think about it, because it's actually super fun. Okay? So everyone have the most amazing week and happy fall. Serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints can present a unique set of challenges, and mindset and emotional well-being is more important than ever. So thanks for being a part of this community, where we share real-life mission stories, support each other through struggles, and keep creating the mission and post-mission experiences that we truly want. Don't forget to check out the show notes for additional resources and share this episode with someone that you think might need it. Thanks so much for being a part of my world, and know this: no matter which part of the mission experience you are involved in, Jenny, the LDS mission coach, is thinking about you every single day.